I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. I've done a lot of videos here at the MeidasTouch Network, but this video and this series of videos that I've done, I think is the most important, and it's just so near and dear to my heart. So make sure you watch until the end and that you share this video with everybody you know, and that you comment below if you have a similar experience. And in these videos, in this video and series of videos, we cover Republicans and independents who have left the Republican Party, because the new Republican Party, defined by MAGA Republicans and MAGA extremism, is not the party that they once knew. And for the first time, or very recently, this group of former Republicans and independents will be voting for Democrats, because let's face it, the Democrats are the only party with adults in the room, the only major political party that supports our democracy, the only major political party that's actually trying to confront the real problems that our country is facing, and not trying to gaslight or promote fascism or become part of a cult where they call their leader Orange Jesus and other just weird and deranged and dangerous things like that. So this all started when we put out a tweet on our Twitter account from MeidasTouch, and we wrote, "Normal Republicans are being pushed out of the GOP in droves. They are being labeled rhinos and traitors by a fascist MAGA movement that bears no relation to conservatism. Many of these Republicans will be voting blue. Do you have a similar story? Share it with us." And in response to that tweet, we got thousands and thousands of responses. So we did a YouTube video highlighting it, and we asked people, do you have a similar experience? Share it in that video. We got thousands of comments there. So we did a part 2. We got thousands of comments. We did a part 3. We got thousands of comments. And this is part 4. And the comments that we've received have warmed my heart. I am so honored to share it with you. And I ask you this: if you have a similar story, whether you have left the Republican Party because it's become the extremist MAGA party that it is today that supports fascism, or whether it's a family member, a neighbor, a coworker, a colleague, or just someone you know, share that story in the comments. It's so important that we let people know what's going on here, and that there is this community out there of pro-democracy, compassionate people who love our country, who want to make our country better, who reject the hate and fascism. Make sure you share this video, you send this video, so people know what is really going on out there. And if there are people who are on the fence and they don't know, let them know that it is okay to leave that MAGA, fascist, hateful, deranged world, and that many other people have left it. That's why these videos are so important. So let me share these comments that we received on our last YouTube video with you. And now you put your comments to this video. So Sherry Gillespie wrote, "Voting blue as a former Republican. This has gone too far. It went too far a long time ago." This is Daniel Volpe. "My mom and dad were both big MAGA voters and have been Republican their entire lives. After the pandemic, they have both left the party and are now Democrats. I cried when I saw my father throwing away his Trump flag. I'm so proud. Do you have a story like that? Share it with us. My lifelong Republican hubby left the party because of Trump and is now a Democrat." That was shared by LRS. Jim A. writes, "I'm a registered Republican, and I am planning on changing my party to Democrat tomorrow and will be voting all blue this coming November." Thanks, Jim. John Flesner writes, "I'm a 75-year-old disabled Vietnam combat vet, been a Republican all my life. MAGA is not the country of my oath of enlistment. I will remain a Republican, but will vote blue until MAGAs are expunged from the party." Thanks, John. Ted Crocker writes, "My 85-year-old dad has been a lifelong Republican, and while he voted for Trump in 2016, he now hates, and I mean hates, Trump. He wants to see him jailed and can't speak his name without a profanity. Last week he informed me he has been making all his donations to the Democratic Party. Go, Dad." Thanks, Ted. Ginger Johnny writes, my mother and father have been lifelong Republicans. Dad is a retired career Navy chaplain, so my parents are members of the conservative trifecta, military, Christian, Republican. They have left the Republican Party. They recognize what a true Christian believes and how a true Christian behaves. They agonize over how Christianity has been perverted and corrupted, not just by Trump, but also the well-educated elected officials who stand behind Trump. I agree, Ginger. Edward Miller writes, Ed Miller in Kansas. I was an independent for 45 years, but registered as a Democrat on August 2nd so I could finally vote in a primary. I voted no to the state constitutional amendment that would have allowed the legislature to enact a strict abortion ban. So did 70% of the voters. Many were Republicans. I'm sick to death of the MAGA BS. Me too. Thanks for sharing, Ed. Vinny1142 writes, my sister lives in Florida and was a true MAGA crazy watching Fox day and night. We were both raised in New York and I still live here. One day we were having a conversation and she was spewing out her MAGA crazy stuff and I reminded her of her 3 abortions and the monthly disability check she gets from the government. After forwarding countless links and having her promise to watch 1 hour of the news channels I send her, it finally dawned on her what the MAGA crazies are all about. Last week, she sent me a video of her throwing her MAGA hat in the trash and taking down her Trump flag from her window and replacing it with a Vote Blue sign. I do not know how I deprogrammed her, but the rest of the family has been sending thank you emails. I, in turn, tell them to vote blue and spread the word, especially the few relatives I have in Texas. I forward them the Texas Paul links. I hope they wake up and vote for Beto. Those were some incredible responses we have to our videos about the mass exodus of Republicans away from this new MAGA Republican Party. You know, for me, I like to say, I'm not a Democrat because I like the donkey logo. I'm not a Democrat because I think the Democratic team is like a cool team or whatever. And by the way, I think that the Democrats on a number of issues don't always get it right. But what I do know, why I consider myself a Democrat, is I know that the Democrats are trying to actually confront the issues, to solve problems, and try to make our country better. You know, the label that MAGA Republicans claim to be conservative, there's nothing conservative about supporting an insurrection. There's nothing conservative about supporting overthrowing a free and fair election. There's nothing conservative about supporting a pandemic, not just having views about whether small businesses should be open. We could have tough conversations, but to literally deny the existence of a pandemic as millions die, that's not a conservative view, yet that's what the MAGA Republicans believe. It is not a conservative view to support stealing top secret classified records, hiding it, obstructing justice, stealing nuclear secrets, lying about it. That's supposed to be a conservative principle? That's not law and order. It's the exact opposite. That's why these MAGA Republicans are not conservative. There is such a sickness, such a disturbing element of this MAGA Republican cult. You know, when you watch these traveling fascist circus rallies that take place, where Donald Trump talks to these MAGA Republican leaders and mocks them and says, you kiss my ass, and you kiss my ass, and you kiss my ass. And then they go up on stage like ass kissers that they are and say, oh, we're so honored to be in your presence. You are the great one. I mean, that's some weird, deranged, dangerous, anti-American behavior. It's all the things that we should be against here in this country. And their spreading of conspiracies and You have the individual who's running for governor of Arizona, Carrie Lake, who talks about big dick energy and telling parents to ask their kids if Donald Trump has the big dick energy. I mean, that weird and dangerous and deranged is that. Tim Ryan, I think, put it great at a recent debate. He talks about the exhausted majority. And the exhausted majority wants to go about our days normally. We want to attend family gatherings. We want to engage in hobbies, play sports, work out, get through our days of work, have a great meal, talk with our kids, talk with our parents, talk with family, talk with neighbors, take a walk in the park, just do things. That's the exhaustion. We don't want to go into a supermarket and have a MAGA Republican spit on us or spit on our fruit so that they can spread their COVID literally and disseminate. We don't want that. What are you doing? We don't need the lying and the shouting and the screaming at us and the trying to overthrow our democracy. We just want to go about our days and have normal conversations. That's an exhausted majority. That exhausted majority needs to show up in this midterms. And what we need to let people know, even people who still may be on the fence, which surprises me if you're still on the fence and you are associated with the MAGA movement after all of this. But if you still are associated with the MAGA movement, I would just tell you this. Go look at these videos that we've put out here at the MeidasTouch Network. Read the comments below. Read the comments in the other videos where we talk about the mass exodus. And you'll see that there is a way out. It's so important that you know, and I'm speaking to you directly. It's so important that you know that there's a way out. Not only that there's a way out, but there is another community out there that is pro-democracy, that is compassionate, that is uplifting, that tries to empower each other. We fight for each other. I mean, just think about it. If you want to discern any policy, economic policy from MAGA republicanism, it's let's give tax cuts to billionaires and hopefully they trickle down some money to you after they buy their yachts. Maybe you'll get something, versus the Democrats' view of let's actually fight for workers. Let's fight and make a middle up economy. Let's fight to make healthcare access affordable. Let's lower prescription drugs. We want to protect Social Security, protect Medicare, make education more affordable and accessible. Common sense solutions for you. Those are tangible policies. If our infrastructure is failing in this country, we build an infrastructure act. We pass an infrastructure act. And what do the Republicans do? The MAGA Republicans, they pretend to be against it, then secretly ask for funding, and then they go out and they hold up checks and say, look what I got for you, after trying to oppose it. It's not phony crap. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're trying to fight for here. And we want to make sure that your working conditions are exceptional. We want to make sure that you won't have to work multiple jobs. Make sure that you're paid not just a living wage. And by the way, go listen to what all the MAGA Republicans are talking about. They don't want to raise the minimum wage. They're not even talking about a living wage. They want to keep minimum wage as low as possible, not raise it to a living wage. Not raise it to a living wage? I don't know about you, but I think most people aren't billionaires and millionaires or decamillionaires or millionaires or any of that. Most people are hardworking Americans who deserve to be paid a living wage, more than a living, a wage of dignity. Frankly, that's what Democrats are fighting for, and that's not a talking point. Literally look at the bills Democrats are introducing and trying to pass, and the bills that MAGA Republicans are killing in the Senate. Just look at them. I mean, literally look at what the MAGA Republicans are trying to do with the Affordable Care Act. They literally have a bill right now in Congress that would repeal the Affordable Care Act. They would repeal your ability to get health care. Democrats are the ones fighting to reduce the price of prescription drugs. Republicans are voting against that. MAGA Republicans are voting against that. So I don't know where your issues line up, but on all of the issues that should matter day to day with you, those issues line up with Democrats. I mean, for me, and I could disagree with the method and ways sometimes that they do it. Should it be this amount of money or that amount of money, or should it be this long or that long? But ultimately, I know that it's trying to solve problems, and it's coming from a place of treating all human beings as well with dignity. At the very least, at threshold, compassion, dignity, uplifting. It's that simple to me. Anyway, please, please, please share this video. Make sure you comment below if you have a story like the ones I read. We'll do another part. I'll try to read your comments. So make sure you leave the comments here right now. Also, make sure you share this video with everybody that you know. That's how you can help, most importantly. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're on our way to 1 million subscribers. Thanks to you. Also, if you want to support independent media like this, go check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. I get asked all the time from different countries, wherever you live, America, wherever. If you want to help grow this platform, go to patreon.com. There's different exclusive membership benefit tiers there that you can subscribe to there as well. Patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Until next time, I'm Ben Meiselas.
This November is Rowvember. MeidasTouch just released its brand new collection of Rowvember t-shirts and pins to let the country know what's at stake this upcoming midterm election. Go to store.MeidasTouch.com to grab yours. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.